Hey you guys, this is Joseph. I'm here to do a quick review for the test we have on Thursday. You must be in class for this test since it's written. I cannot express that enough, that you have to be in class to take the test. I'm going to pull in another window real quick to see what's on the test. Here it is, blah blah. And we're going to be going over this. So content of the exam: scales, AutoCAD basics, bearing traverses, parcels, stationing, blocks, and plotting to scale. Okay, so let's start with the first one, scales. The best way to go over this is in his PowerPoints. He has some great, they're not great, they're useful PowerPoint slides. So if we look at some scales, let's talk about what a scale can be for a second. Okay, we can have engineering scales with quantities 1 through 6. Okay, so we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We cannot have 7, 8, or 9. Why is this? Because an engineering scale only has 6 sides. If you look at this picture, this is what you should own. It has 6 sides. So therefore we can only have 6 different scales. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to go through a couple examples real quick. Let's do the 10 scale. This one's pretty easy. So 1 inch equals 10. So this would be 1, this would be 18.5, etc. Let's do something a little more complicated like the 30 ones. So 30 is equal to 1 inch. So 30 is equal to 1 inch, 60 is equal to 2 inches, 90 is equal to 3 inches, 12 is equal to 4 inches, and then we just multiply by the conversion factor. Pretty straightforward. You guys shouldn't have trouble with this. It's relatively straightforward. If you can do simple math, you should be good. What else does he have here? Just look over the PowerPoint. It's got some useful things. Nothing too crazy. What's next on our list? AutoCAD basics. Okay, I'm going to go to the directory first. Grid. Grid displays. So I have mine off because I personally think it's abhorrent. It clutters the screen. So you can see my grid kind of. Grid lines. Snap. A snap we use often. I'm sorry, wrong tab. This is snap. There's a bunch of endpoint, midpoint, center, node, quadrant, intersection, extension, insertion, perpendicular, tangent, so on. We can change them around in display. We don't really get into other things besides object snap, and that's all you pretty much need to worry about. We do a lot of modeling based on snapping. What else? Circle. Draw us a circle. Command circle. So let's draw a circle. C for circle, center point, diameter. I can write circle. I can find it up here. Where are you? Circle. And I can do different things. 3-point circle, 2-point circle, tangent, tangent, radius. I don't think he's going to ask that. We'll see. They're pretty easy, so let's go over them real quick just in case. So 3-point circle. It's 3 points, what it says. It's like a chord and then part of the arc. So you draw a chord and then arc it to something else. Tangent, tangent is 2 tangent lines and then a point. Basically the same thing. Lines. Sorry, wrong thing again. So we can type line. We can type L for line. Okay, and we can do a line. Type a line, and then we can start it at the origin 0, 0, which is where it starts normally. So if we type line, specify start point 0, 0, and then we can go 4,400. I'm sorry, 500, and that's an XY coordinate. That's really small, so I'm gonna zoom in so we can see it a little bit better. So let me do that again. Line 0, 0. I'm at my origin. I can do 300, 600. It'll plot that line for me. So it's gone 300 on the x-axis, 600 up. We can also use the at command, which is the same thing. So at, which is, you can't really see it, second or shift 2, at, and then this will reset our origin to the point we just picked. So if I do 300, 600, It is now 300 in the X and 600 in the Y from the point I snapped to. What else do we have? From point to point. Done that. Arc. Did it again. Arc is pretty much the same thing. There's a bunch of different ways. This is a 2-point arc. You can do a 3-point arc. There's a bunch of different options. It's an arc. I mean, how complicated can you get? Limits. Set the limits for drawing paper, A-size paper. The command is limits. So we'll do that. We really haven't talked much about that, so let's write it. Limits. Lower left-hand corner, we're going to make 0. Yep. And now we have limits defined. Not really hard. Zoom. There's a bunch of different zooms. I use these a lot for people. The one I like to use is zoom extent. It will zoom the entirety of my thing. But let's talk about zooming for a little bit in scaling. So if I zoom and then I go to scale, I can zoom any scale I want. Okay, now it asks NX or XP. Okay, the one that we deal with a lot is XP, and that's in relation to your paper. So if I want to make this 1/10 of my paper size, 1 divided by 10 XP. Now that's 1/10 of my modeled size. If I do that again, zoom, scale, 1 divided by 10. I do not get the same result. Notice there's a difference. So let me show you the difference. I did it again. That's 20 XP. I didn't mean to do that. Now let me do it again. There is a difference. Okay. He is probably going to ask you a question about how to scale something in model space to paper space. That will probably be a question. Know your scales. Pans. Let me go through some more. You can zoom window. I just typed window and then you click and drag your window. You can zoom previous, dynamic, center, whatever you want. There's a bunch of different ones. I still like extent. That's my favorite one because I can see everything I've done. Panhand. If you have a mouse, you can center click. If not, it's over here. We can pan around. Change. Editing commands. Okay, these are important. We do a lot of shortcuts. We actually don't type these commands. If this was an older AutoCAD, we would have to actually type these. Change. Normally we just double click and try to change something in the properties pull down. That's what I like to do. It's easier than typing the command. Erase. We just click and hit delete. You can also use the erase button. Extend. We haven't really talked about this, but I'm going to talk more about this right here. So if I hypothetically, clicking buttons again. If I have a line, let's say right here, and I want to extend this line out to this one, I can type extend, right click, and then left click, and it will extend it out. That's extend. Trim is the same thing. So if I want to trim this excess off, I would type trim, right click, and then left click on what I want to trim. Grips. Yeah, we really don't care about these. Copy, paste, stretch, rotate, mirror. So let's think these are down here. Copy, paste, move, offset, fillet. Layers. We've done a lot with layers. You should know where they're displayed, what not to put on a layer. Nothing should be on the 0 layer. The colors really don't mean anything. These really shouldn't mean a whole lot to you, just that we have them. Construction commands. Array is exactly what it sounds. It's rows and columns. So if you have, I don't know, let's do something real quick. Make this circle. So here's the array command too. Sure, I'd like to select objects. This one. Then I can preview what I've done. Don't really like it because they're all close together. So if I make these, let's make them 100. See if we can see it now. So let's make it a lot bigger, like 1,000. That's all it does. It makes an array. So I just started with one and I can make multiple. So I've accepted this array. So now I got